Many have proposed that the early disciples were so overwhelmed with grief at Jesus' death that they picked up the idea of resurrection from their surrounding culture and clung on to that. Maybe he's been raised from the dead, maybe, and then finally persuading themselves it was true, and then going out and telling people that it was true. Some have suggested that the earliest Christians believed that after his death Jesus had been exalted to heaven, and then they gradually started to speak about resurrection because of that. Or that they had a sense that they had to carry on his mission to bring in God's kingdom, and that made them say he was raised from the dead. But would that make any sense? We can test it out with a little thought experiment. In AD 70, 40 years after Jesus' death, the Romans conquered Jerusalem and they led thousands of Jews captive back to Rome, including the man they regarded as the king of the Jews, the leader of the Jewish revolt, a man called Simon Bar Giora. Simon was led into Rome at the back of Titus's triumphal procession. And at the end of the spectacle, as everyone knew was going to happen, the king, the rebel king, the leader of the enemy, was flogged and executed. Now, supposing we imagine a few Jewish revolutionaries 3 days or 3 weeks afterwards. Somehow they've managed to escape being killed themselves and they're in hiding. And one says, I think Simon really was the Messiah, and I think he still is. And the others are puzzled. Of course he isn't. The Romans got him. They killed him. That's what they do to people. If you want a Messiah, you better find another one. Says the first, but I think he's been raised from the dead. What do you mean, his friends ask? He's dead and buried. Oh no, replies the first. I believe he's been exalted to heaven. The others look very puzzled. All the righteous martyrs, all those who have died for their faith, of course they're in heaven with God. Everybody knows that. The souls of the righteous are in the hands of God, and there shall no torment touch them. Famous Jewish text. That doesn't mean they've already been raised from the dead. It means they will be one day. Resurrection isn't something that happens to one person in the middle of history. No, replies the first, you don't understand. I've had a strong sense of God's love surrounding me. I've found God forgiving me for running away. I've felt my heart strangely warmed. What's more, last night I really thought that Simon was there with me. And the others interrupt and they're now angry. We can all have visions. Plenty of people dream about recently dead friends or family members. Sometimes that's very vivid. That doesn't mean they've been raised from the dead. It certainly doesn't mean that one of them is the Messiah. And if your heart has been warmed, then for goodness sake, sing a psalm. Don't make wild claims about a dead man. That is what they would have said to anyone offering the kind of statement which, according to the revisionists, the skeptics, somebody must have come up with at the beginning, as the beginning of the idea of Jesus' resurrection. But this solution isn't just incredible, it's historically impossible. Had anyone said any of those things that revisionists have suggested, some such conversation as I've just given you would have ensued. A little bit of disciplined historical imagination is all it takes to blow away enormous piles of so-called historical criticism.